Welcome back, everyone. We continue with the last day of the round robin stage here for KDL team matches. And this next one is going to have some heavy implications for our playoff standings. First up on stage, it is going to be the defending champions, KWANGDONGFREECS.
Yeah, and this is the headline match of the day for sure. KWANGDONGFREECS versus ROX esports. Two of the top teams so far in what is effectively a preview of the postseason here in the KDL. The Freaks looking to retain their title as champions world. Their Speed Ace leading them, but Spear, Cool, and Seongnam all so good, not only in speed mode, but also in item mode this season, as the Freaks have really stepped it up.
Yeah, they've really grown as a team, but of course, some other teams have grown maybe a bit stronger as well, as Seongnam ROX. I mean, they looked very shaky in preseason 1. Let's say it like it is, right? Their speed mode was good. Their ace matches with Jung were absolutely terrifying. However, their item mode was so shaky. This time around, they're here to prove everyone wrong, try to rise to the top.
Yeah, and the addition of Ding on this roster has made such a difference. I mean, this guy right now has been leading the pack in terms of team rank speed this whole season. He's still rank 1. As you know, now for ROX, it feels like they almost have 2 aces up their sleeve in Jung and Ding for speed mode, as they're looking to be one of the best speed modes teams that we have here in KDL.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to clarify for everyone, if Seongnam ROX is able to win in any fashion at all in today's matchup against KWANGDONGFREECS, ROX will actually shoot forward to first place here in the regular season, moving on, getting that upper bye, and of course that will solidify Liv's Sandbox in second place as well. Meanwhile, KWANGDONGFREECS, as they put it in their bio, they want that 2-0 win to absolutely guarantee that they get into second place, go into the upper bracket finals, get that extra bye in the bracket.
Yeah, a lot on the line right now for ROX esports, as you know, they didn't have quite the performance that they wanted in KDL Preseason 1, as they say, you better not look down on us, because ROX esports absolutely now the peers of the KWANGDONGFREECS here in KDL Preseason 2, one of the strongest teams that we have this season, potentially looking to be rank 1 when all is said and done here today.
I mean, which would be an absolute glow up here for Seongnam ROX, right? I mean, they were the team that showed so much potential, but also was so strictly 2% off in preseason 1, and if they're able to suddenly shoot forward as #1 seed in the round robin stage, it would put a lot of fear into both KWANGDONGFREECS and Liv's Sandbox as the other 2 pro banners here in the KDL.
Seongnam ROX main stage first place is still within reach. ROX aims to take down the defending champions for a spot in the upper bracket finals. Yeah, I feel like 2-0 right now would be such a big win for this team. Even a 2-1, I think, will secure their spot in that upper bracket final. Should be first place regardless, considering their excellent set and round differential overall so far this preseason.
Yeah, and just seeing there's no script, right? We're just going for it, Hail Mary, try to create a drama here for themselves, try to break apart the expectations. Because theory would say that KWANGDONGFREECS generally always favored in a matchup like this, no matter how much stronger ROX has looked to be gotten. But things are a little different. Preseason 2, Seongnam ROX is a very different beast, and they did win the coin toss, so they took speed priority.
Taking speed priority against KWANGDONGFREECS just goes to show, you know, how confident this team is in their capabilities here. As we look at the speed track list overall, we will be starting on World Tour New York Rally, that is ROX esports selection, and then moving on to Glacier Extreme Stadium, Zigzag Timberland, World Tour Terracotta Twister, and then finally the Brazil circuit. And rounds 2, 3, 4 especially is just like a highlight reel of the best speed tracks for the best speed teams.
Absolutely, and both of these, I mean, for instance, like Zigzag Timberland, that's one that ROX has always been so strong on, but then if we were to go to Terracotta Twister, of course, KWANGDONGFREECS rarely ever giving up the lead on that one as well. But it's going to be Seongnam ROX who adds a little bit more flavor, so to speak, right? World Tour New York Rally as that first track, and I believe it was Brazil Circuit in that last one. So if it gets to that, we'll see what Seongnam ROX has in store, but can they kick things off with a win on the board as we go to their track pick in speed mode, World Tour New York Rally? And the race begins. KWANGDONGFREECS versus Seongnam ROX, team mode, speed mode, first track.
Yeah, KWANGDONGFREECS already off to a great lead here with Cool World and Seongbin battling 3v1 against Ding here at the front of the pack. Now Jong the speed ace on this team is going to try and lend some support as Ding, actually with a bad collision right there off the wall, gets forced back a little bit, lost some momentum. He is able to recover now into 5th place.
Yeah, but he did lose a bit of that positioning. Now Seongnam getting bumped into the wall as well, just trying to avoid any heavier collisions. Jung and Ding back in position. This is what they were going for earlier. However, Cool and World are a decent amount ahead, so Jung's gonna try to boost forward, try to get into draft range. He will have a couple more opportunities, especially as we enter the terminal and exit into the park.
Yeah, this is a one-lapper, so it's so critical that they're able to close the distance in Seongnam. That's why his sweeping is so effective in this situation. As we see, I think Ding get knocked all the way back into 8th place, as that was some fantastic body blocking right now, and it's all up to Jung to break up the high place 1-2 finish here for KDF.
Yeah, and quite frankly, even if Jung breaks in, Spell's gonna have to catch up as well, provide support, but Seongnam's right on his track and he's not getting out of draft range, so Spell's not quite free just yet. Jung should have 1, if not 2 opportunities, but again, he has to hope that his teammates can do something in the end as well, especially for Spell. Can he catch up with him? Jung! Oh, he tries for the Hail Mary. He knew that's what he needed to do.
Yeah, he had to make the greedy play right there and just try to take that inner line, but with the New York City tour bus, not able to make that happen as World was able to zone him out, and it's going to be a 1-2 finish here for KWANGDONGFREECS on round number 1, World Tour New York Rally. KDF taking a very early lead on ROX's map choice.
Yeah, and you got to think back to that very first collision, we had early on where we saw Ding kind of getting pushed back, eventually tries to get back in, but he has to greed a little bit, gets blocked out by Seongnam, gets knocked all the way back halfway through the track. And initially when Ding gets bumped away, that was actually trying to make way for Jung as well, trying to make a double team situation. Once he moves out, Jung's on his own for quite some time, and Cool and World are continuing to cruise forward. In fact, setting a new record for Cool here in our team mode.
Yeah, they were pretty much uncontested that entire time. They had a clean breakaway, basically right out of the gates, and then the sweeping from their teammates on the back ranks was just so effective. I mean, Seongnam especially just made so many problems for the ROX racers that were trying to close the distance on them, and that's going to be KWANGDONGFREECS coming to a very confident round 1 win here in speed. And for ROX Esports, keep in mind, they're looking to win 2-0 or 2-1 here against KDF to secure that 1st place ranking overall in the standings. The pressure is on for them. I mean, this could be their ticket to the grand finals by getting through that upper bracket finals, as we're getting ready to move on to track number 2. Let's see if ROX Esports can fight back and even the score on Glacier Extreme Stadium. A critical track here for Seongnam ROX Esports, as they do not want to go down 2-0 here in speed against the reigning champion KWANGDONGFREECS.
Yeah, much better positioning off the gate. In fact, Ding getting quite some breathing room. Of course, as we always mention, you get into the hairpins, people will catch back up and you won't be quite scot-free, but it is nice to know that you can continue your build without too much pressure just yet in the first half of the track here.
Yeah, also with Jung and Dutzy right behind Spear and Seongnam right now on the roster, it feels very good for ROX. They have a lot of chances right now to reinforce Ding in that upper rank, as he is kind of playing his own game, but with drafting, Spear and Seongnam should be able to close the distance eventually here.
Yeah, and Jung just trying to put some pressure onto Spear. He's able to box him out for just a bit, but both of them should be able to stabilize their builds coming into the hairpins. Jung gonna go for a bit more sharper turns, even if he loses a bit of speed, just to make sure that he maintains his position. He gets the draft again. He's gonna try to pressure Seongnam, but again, just lap 1, so nothing too crazy just yet.
Yeah, and ROX right now barely eking out a lead in the point standings, as KDF, Cool sitting at 5th place right behind this. 2-3-4 is in the cards should Jung get unseated from this 4th place position. You see him just doing everything he can to try and close the distance. Meanwhile, Ding has been doing a great job of, despite the drafting of KDF, Seongnam and Spear, maintaining 1st place, but now he's under threat.
Yeah, Ding just trying to save up his boost for just a bit, but immediately he's going to refill to try to catch back up. Team boost coming online. Meanwhile, World is quite far behind in 8th place. So right now, KWANGDONGFREECS, they have to pretend that it's a 3-man race for them.
Wow, and now Seongnam and Spear actually taking the lead. Races right there as Spear collides with the wall a little bit. Ding is going to have to pass Seongnam now if ROX Esports wants to have a chance right here, as we're coming down into the final hairpin turn. It's very close between these two racers. Nitrous Gauge, 2 blues for Ding, a blue and a red for Seongnam. We'll see if that makes the difference.
Ding, he's trying to boost forward, but Seongnam is able to immediately activate his second one. However, the 3-4 secured by the teammates of Seongnam ROX behind during the hairpins. And Seongnam ROX joined with a little celebration on stage, and they take the second track.
Yeah, ROX esports able to force Spear back and secure that 2-3-4. Just kind of takes the pressure off their lead racer there as suddenly the win condition becomes a little bit easier. As I was worried for a moment there with Seongnam passing Ding on the final straightaway, but I mean, ROX esports, their midfield so strong on that second track, and it's tied up 1-1.
Yeah, and I love that that call comes out for Seongnam ROX as well, right? So Ding not going for anything too crazy. He just manages his boost gauge. Of course, Seongnam's able to fill up his team boost in the last second, goes over on first place, but Seongnam ROX, they had the right placements ready to go in that midfield, like you mentioned, State, and now things are tied 1-1 in speed mode.
And Ding doing such a great job that entire race, just setting the pace for his team, securing the lead there in second place and really just anchoring them throughout both laps, really, as we're going to move on to track number 3 for Zigzag Timberland. One of these teams is going to take the lead and go up 2-1. Who will it be?
And off through the woods we go. KWANGDONGFREECS trying to get a lead just a bit once again. This time Ding all on his own some, but Jong with an aggressive boost, just kind of causing some collisions and a lot of aggressive cutting to make sure that he keeps his position and his boost gauge.
Yeah, what a great start here for the KWANGDONGFREECS with Cool Spear and Seongnam holding on to top 3. And, you know, Seongnam right now in 3rd place, this is exactly what you want as the Freaks. He's so good at sweeping and creating problems. As you see him just kind of ricocheting off that wall, just trying to basically be a thorn in the side of all these ROX racers and give Cool and Spear, the lead racers for the KDF, as much breathing room as you can.
Yeah, he does swing out just a bit to try to get another aggressive sweep there. Not going to land his target, but he's still right next to Spell and Dutzy. So Seongnam ROX, they actually already have their work cut out for them now. We will see Seongnam bounce back just a bit once again. Curious to see if he goes for any aggressive plays here in the hairpins, because we're only on lap 1 out of 2.
Yeah, but I think the win condition's already very clearly defined right now for the KWANGDONGFREECS as, you know, Spear and Cool, if they're able to lock down positions 1 and 2, that's a win no matter what the rest of the standings look like. So for KDF, you see World and Seongnam both just basically sacrificing themselves. They're not worried about joining their teammates in the front ranks. They just want to do as much sweeping as they possibly can. And now that laps number 1 is done, I mean, look at this distance between Cool and Spear and the remaining racers for ROX. It's quite large.
Yeah, and you're going to have to try to maintain as many drafts as you can on the side of ROX if you want to try to catch up. But World's trying to make sure that that cannot happen, just constantly messing up their builds so they cannot keep the most ideal draft positions off of each other. World's trying to be a thorn. He already knocks one extra racer away from the middle of the pack here for Seongnam ROX.
Yeah, but Spell's finally been able to work his way up into 1 and 2 and starting to cause some problems right now as he is able to pass Spear just for a moment. Now Spear with the inner line, able to body block him back out. And ROX looking to try and upset this right now at the finish line. KDF did Cool and Spear not have enough of a lead.
Yeah, I mean, there's a solid chance right now. Spear will have to do what he can, because if Cool can hang on to first place, they're relatively safe. But if not, things are starting to look a little dicey. However, we should note that Dutzy also falls back to 7th place. Now Spell as well just gets knocked all the way back, and Ding, while he tries to contest for first place, it's just not going to mean much.
Yep, the collisions there on the back ranks for ROX esports just had their racers pull all the way into 6th, 7th, and 8th, and it seems like no matter what the top of the standings are going to look like right now for KDF, it's going to be a KDF victory here in round number 3 on Zigzag Timberland. As, I mean, they played that one from the get-go with some high intensity. There was a lot of pressure on the ROX players to first try to break up the 1-2 win condition, and you can see them basically doing everything they can to make that happen, but the sweeping from the Freaks was just too strong, and it was almost a war of attrition where eventually ROX esports, all of their racers with the exception of, I think, Ding, was so far behind the pack of KDF that there really wasn't a chance for them to make a play.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why Ding goes for the Hail Mary, goes for the spin turn, just to try to block people off, see if the rest of his team can try to move forward. But at the end of the day, the 1-2 was already secured anyway, so no chance of making a difference here. Seongnam ROX, we did see on the player cams right as the race was ending, Jong just trying to calm down his teammates, make sure they get ready for the next one. It's not over till it's over. You know, just a 2-1 lead here for KWANGDONGFREECS. Of course, a set point. However, Seongnam ROX, if they can tie it up, we will be going to that 5th track here in speed mode.
Desperately need a win here on Terracotta Twister, but KWANGDONGFREECS so hard to beat on this track. We'll see if ROX has any tricks up their sleeves that could throw a wrench into the machine that is the KDF, the reigning champions here at the KDL, as we're moving on to round number 4 here between KWANGDONGFREECS and ROX Esports. It'll be raced on World Tour Terracotta Twister. Match point and team speed with KWANGDONGFREECS looking oh so strong after Zigzag Timberland, and now their map choice, Terracotta Twister. It's been their bread and butter this entire KDL preseason, but Will, look at the start for ROX Esports. Ting, Jung, and Spell doing a great job of running away with this one here on lap number 1.
Yeah, this is what they needed, right? If we look at the wins that KDF has had so far in this matchup, and generally as well, they always have that heavy lead, the 1-2 setup ready to go. We're seeing on the minimap Spear already quite far behind. Now we'll have a chance to catch up as we enter the indoor area here of Terracotta Twister. Surely nothing too aggressive here in the first part. Jung actually doing just a little bit of blocking, slowing down to make sure that he's able to keep World in check.
Yeah, it's a very clean line from all these racers, not risking it too much right now here in that inner portion, as we'll see if that's going to be the same story on lap number 2. As Jong and Ding, they are still holding on to positions 1 and 2. It's difficult to pass on this map with so many turns, but so many rooms to also body block. As the lead racers, Jong and Ding, they're just continuing to hold on. You can see Cole, he's trying to find a breakaway, but Jong just zoning him out at every turn.
Yeah, and then you've got Spell right behind him as well. A bit of a bump there for World. He's not going to be able to stay close to Cool just yet. Seongnam still just so far behind KWANGDONGFREECS. They have to manage this race as if it's only 3 people for the time being.
Yeah, absolutely, and so the pressure right now is on KDF to try and cause some problems here for ROX Esports, and maybe they can make that happen here in the inner portion of the tomb.
Cool.
On Terracotta Twister, Cool, let's see if he tries to go for any sweeping plays here on ROX's players. Very precarious lines right now. He might try to body block Ding, and no, just content to take position number 2, does not want to gamble too much.
Yeah, but a nice pass now. This opens things up for World as well. If he can pass Ding, and Cool just trying to contest against Jung, we could see things flip here for the KWANGDONGFREECS, but it's going to be Ding who boosts right by Cool off that draft, get the 1-2 finish, and that means we're tied up going to track 5 of speed mode between KWANGDONGFREECS and Seongnam ROX.
Man, if this is a preview of the KDL postseason, I mean, it's a good one, as these teams going head-to-head right now in speed mode. And after KDL Preseason 1, it felt like really the only team in the world that could hang with the Freaks in team speed was Live Sandbox. But now here in KDL Preseason 2, ROX just showing up in force with their 2 aces in the hole, Jong and Ding, just absolutely dominating the track on KDF's map pick, Terracotta Twister, finishing in 1st and 2nd place.
Yeah, and, you know, I don't mean to state the obvious here, but it does seem like this is the most ideal scenario. While Jung can be great at causing some havoc and trying to catch back up in the middle of the track, if you just have Jung and Ding up front, those 2 are so good, and clearly their teamwork is getting better and better as a duo as well. So curious to see if that can happen in our 5th track. Now, of course, not as much room to get any crazy sort of aggression going. We'll be going to WKC Brazil circuit. However, out of the WKC circuit, probably a couple more opportunities where you can go for some different builds to try to catch up. Let's take a look at lap 2 here of that last track. This is where World, I believe, bumps the corner just a bit. He's trying to avoid the collision with Cool as well, maintain that build for himself, and that means he fell far behind. Eventually catches up, and Ding gets the draft and the boost. Cool tries to block him there as well. We see that. And this is what happens. KWANGDONGFREECS starting to finally get challenged by some other teams outside of Sandbox.
Yeah, it's been so close right now between these 2 teams. We're getting ready to go to the decider match here for team speed mode. Map number 5, Seongnam ROX versus KDF. Who will take the set on WKC Brazil circuit?
And the race begins. The track heated up between KWANGDONGFREECS and Seongnam ROX as they vie to see who will take speed mode in this team match.
That's a very congested start right now with both teams in pretty commanding positions, although ROX right now building a lot of nitrous gauge right here in this 3v1 with Dutzy, Ding, and Spell against Sungbin. And with Jung right now sitting in position number 7, I'm feeling very good about ROX's standing right now because, as you said, Will, he is so good at climbing up the ranks when he needs to.
Yeah, and Spell was just doing a great job of cutting out all of KWANGDONGFREECS across a lot of these shortcuts that take the grass. Now eventually Seongnam and Spear will find some openings with Spell once again pressuring them, just trying to box out Spear, make sure that he can't go into the grass at a great angle. Now Spears is the one who's trying to box out Spell, but eventually Spell will be able to get the boost advantage just to stay ahead for the time being.
Yeah, and Spell doing some fantastic sweeping, giving some room for Jong not only to close the distance there in position number 8, but also allow Ding and Zutzi to try and cement and solidify their positions here in 1 and 2 as Spell. I wouldn't be surprised if more sweeping came in. Yeah, he collides at least one KDF player right there in with a wall as ROX just consolidating right now in the top ranks.
Spell is doing everything he can. So Spear and Cool, they just say, okay, let's get away from that congestion, draft off of each other, try to keep up in speed, try to find a better angle. Again, some build variety possible here on Brazil's circuit. And Ding just trying to avoid a lot of the collisions himself as well. Don't give away that draft position.
It is so close right now as every racer is in eyesight of each other. I mean, how often do you see it this congested on any track in particular? But ROX Esports, they just have the slight edge right now. Seongnam and Spear, they haven't been able to work their way up into the top 3, but the pack for ROX, like a pack of wolves, they're dominating the track.
Yeah, and everyone once again gathering up as they go across that grass. I mean, this is one of those races where we're going to have to wait till the very last second of the finish line. We're nearing the end, 500 meters to go. Spear cuts right across the hill, trying to take first position. He's able to keep up his boost. Now he will go into first, but ROX, can they keep it up? No, they get passed on the 4 and 5. And KDF with the 1-4-5-7. Will secure the point lead and take speed mode victory.
Yeah, but it was so close. It really came down to the back ranks there. I mean, Spear, he did get position number 1, but with 2 players there on ROX Esports falling to, I think, 6 and 8, I mean, just not able to manifest the points that they needed there from the middle field to actually declare a win. And that's going to be KDF taking speed mode and setting a record as well, which is surprising considering how many team fights it felt like we had on that track. I mean, the sweeping was non-stop. Both these guys were at each other's throats, but despite all of that, Spear is still able to come through and deliver a record. I mean, it's phenomenal, really, what the KDF is able to do, and it goes to show, you know, how hotly contested this lobby is, because coming into the finish line, the racers, they were all on both teams so close together, and still, one of them is setting a record. I mean, it's impressive stuff.
Yeah, I mean, of course, part of that, surely the draft's coming into play as well, but what I'm impressed about is just that split-second decision to take the hill there in the last couple turns, to go for that shortcut, knowing that you have the boost to make sure you don't lose too much speed and make sure you secure first place. That's what allows the rest of the team to just focus on taking that midfield advantage, the middle of the pack, the 4-5 position. And now we are seeing the substitutions come in for item mode. Of course, only Seongnam ROX with a dedicated item ace. KWANGDONGFREECS, they've been running this 4-man crew all year in KDL, and it's been working out well for them.
Yeah, it's been a lot better than KDL Preseason 1, even it feels like, as KDF really coming into their own here in item mode. Question is, will they be able to close it out here in this 5-track set, or will we be going to an ace match? We'll have to find out as the draft's coming in. Glacier Shark's Wake first pick here for KDF, followed by Desert Sphinx's Riddle, Forest Mushroom Caves, Factory Cogwheel Crush, and then should we go to a track 5, it will be raced on Mine Motherlode.
Yeah, curious to see KWANGDONGFREECS. They are close to trying to secure that upper bracket finals, right? Trying to secure that first round bye in the playoffs. If they can win 2-0, if they can win item mode, that is absolutely locked in. Then it will be Live Sandbox and the KWANGDONGFREECS in the upper bracket finals. However, if they drop this, even if they eventually win in the ace match, it comes down to track differentials between the remaining teams. So KWANGDONGFREECS, it's now or never if they want that extra bye in the playoffs of Preseason 2 as we go to Glacier Shark's Wake.
And here we go on item mode, Seongnam ROX versus KWANGDONGFREECS. ROX needing a set win here in item to force that ace match and keep their hopes of an upper bracket playoff berth alive.
Yeah, we're just looking at, a lot of the players trying to wait for those item boxes. Some of them not quite getting the rotations they want. Ding currently running without any items for another rotation of item boxes. Hopefully he can refill those up, but does finally get a UFO. Just going to cycle through that as soon as he's able to, I imagine.
Yeah, first Lightning also on the board right now for KDF Seongbin. So KWANGDONGFREECS with some nice team play items here on lap number 1 of this 3-lapper on Shark's Wake. Be very happy with that. Also picking up a Angel Shield, so nice picks right now for KDF.
Yeah, KWANGDONGFREECS are looking quite okay, right? They have double Angel Shields as well. I mean, they've got insurance plans. They've got the Hail Mary play with the Lightning Bolt. Now it's really about, can the remaining members really cycle through, especially in the looks of Spear, just trying to put on the pressure against Seongnam ROX. Make sure they can't hold on to any items for too long.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know, Seongmin right now holding on to both an Angel and a Lightning Bolt means that he's not going to be rotating items for pretty much the rest of the entire track. So, you know, for KDF, it's going to be a little bit less item rotation overall because they do have that one racer just holding on to basically a wombo combo right now, and that means that Seongnam ROX could take a tempo advantage here in the middle field because as of yet, no one is really completely clogged in their inventories.
Yeah, now Jung's been holding on to his own Lightning Bolt as well. However, we keep mentioning the double Angel Shields on the side of KDF. So Seongnam ROX, if they want impact with that Lightning Bolt, they're going to have to start throwing out a lot of other items, and they're not getting the targeted attacks that they want here in their item rotation.
No, not really, and you have to wonder whether that Lightning Bolt is going to be enough. Actually, it pops right now, so they're deciding to go for a tempo play. Perhaps they recognize that, you know, we can't actually make too much happen, and maybe they have the foresight to know that KDF is going to have some Angel Shields, so they use it early.
And you do have the Angelic Shield now coming out for ROX. Clancy will get locked up by the Water Bomb. However, Ding, he's trying to boost forward. Does he have the speed to maintain? The Magnet comes in for a Spear, but it's not enough. Ding will still cross the finish line in the last second. And I love that decision from Seongnam ROX. Use yours first because you know you not only have the boost on Ding, but then you had a Magnet potentially from Clancy as well to drag someone back if they passed you after the Lightning Bolt. And then you eventually got the Angelic Shield as well, so Ding was able to not lose momentum. I mean, everything coming online at the right moment here for Seongnam ROX.
Yeah, and it's also an awkward play for KDF to deal with because they popped that Lightning so early on ROX, right? And so KDF's like, okay, wait, do we actually use the Angel Shield right now with so much track left to go, maybe 750 meters before that finish line? Or do we save it? They decided to save it, and that might have been the difference maker between them winning or losing that track because ROX Esports, they won it by a hair. If they didn't get that Lightning Bolt off to steal some momentum from KDF, they might have been looking at an 0-1 lead, but instead, winning track number 1 going to be very good. Nice first step on their way towards securing an item mode win and potentially forcing an ace match here.
Yeah, absolutely. Joan just getting back into focus, desperately wants to go to the ace match, wants to win this match, get into the upper bracket finals, get that bye in the playoffs. We'll see if it comes to fruition as we get ready for round 2 in item mode between these two teams. We go to Desert Sphinx's Riddle. And the race is off here in the desert. Seongnam ROX leading 1-0 in item mode.
Yeah, nice start for them. I love the way they played track number 1. Despite the items, the team items, I should say, not really going their way, still able to come through with a win. Goes to show how much skill this team really has in item mode, which was, you know, one of their weakest points in KDL Preseason 1. They've improved so much since then. Yeah,
absolutely. The teamwork is there. The comms seems to be a lot better as well. And of course, the meta shift. Ooh, Clancy with a nice little block against Seongmin, just trying to get to the edge there, avoid potential water bombs coming out from either side.
Yeah, more water bombs popping in the middle are avoided, but rockets, of course, leading to those banana spin-outs right now is a lot of attacks getting rotated through on both sides.
Yeah, we're kind of seeing everything stabilize here with just the water bombs and missiles being left over. Now individual shields being held on. First Angel Shield comes online for KWANGDONGFREECS Seongbin, so you got to imagine that's going to be held on to for the last lap.
Oh, absolutely. We do have a 3-lapper right now. Still, that's the only big team play item that is on the field right now is that Angel Shield here on Seongbin, as Seongnam ROX still looking to get some of those big high-impact items here on lap number 2. As of yet, no lightnings. Oh, I say that, and then Ding picks one up.
Yeah, one comes online, but there's 2 Angelic Shields on the side of KWANGDONGFREECS once again. Now, however, I mean, ROX, do they start to plan for another kind of iffy timing here, try to force the ultimatum against KWANGDONGFREECS? We'll have to wait and see as we near the end of lap 2, going into the final lap.
I wouldn't be surprised if they went back to that play and popped that lightning, you know, maybe 1 kilometer out from the finish line, right? At an awkward timing for KDF where they still want to hang on to those Angel Shields. If you really only have 1 lightning in the bag, it might be the best play because it's almost a foregone conclusion that your opponent will have at least 1 Angel ready to deal with it.
Yeah, now the problem being that ROX doesn't have anyone up front to really take advantage of a boost or anything like that. Jung finally coming in. What does he pick up? He actually gets pushed all the way back. Ding with the Lightning Bolt and an EMP, he's not going to be the one who's able to cross that finish line first. Now Plansy, there's a man with a plan. He's got a magnet and the boost. If the Lightning strikes at the right time for KWANGDONGFREECS, he might be able to shoot far enough forward to cross the finish line first.
I think almost every single ROX player right now holding on to a magnet. Let's see how useful those are as 300 meters away from the finish line. Attacks come in. Magnet is slowing down World, so ROX Esports going to try and close the distance, but actually is Spear on the outside, who didn't have too much aggro on him, who's able to cross the finish line first as ROX. Although they did have a lot of magnets, a lot of nitrous in the bag heading into that finish line, we're not able to get the combination off as KDF just had so many racers in a great position to make that final leap.
Yeah, once again, I mean, things kind of came together on that first track of Shark's Wake, where you were able to say, okay, we still have an insurance plan to cross the finish line regardless of whether we get hit or not. But here, there was no pressure after the Lightning Bolt regardless, so they tried to take out the shields with a lot of other attacks, like the missiles, like the water bombs, but still one Angel shield saved up, allows Spear to not get hit by the Lightning Bolt, and will be able to cross the finish line safely.
What a close series so far. You know, today, just in general, the first match, both of them went 3-2. Team speed here between KDF and ROX also going 3-2, and now here we are in item mode, tied up 1-1 already. As you can see, teams, the skill levels are really starting to balance out here over the course of KDL Preseason 2. Everyone's getting better, everyone a little bit stronger than they were when we started Preseason 2, and certainly improved over Preseason 1 as the competition now so fierce, especially between these top two teams.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll have to see it, because like you said it earlier, Steve, this is just a preview, a taste of that playoff bracket. Looking at the last moments here, or close to it, of lap 3. And again, we just see that the Angel Shield's still online now. Ding just trying to position, cycle through whatever items he can. Goes for that Lightning Bolt and the Water Bomb. The Water Bomb actually just beyond the finish line as well. So you can see that Seongnam ROX still throwing whatever they had to make sure they go for the winning condition, but they couldn't secure it in time.
Yeah, let's see if they're able to turn things around right now. 2-track wins away from securing that ace match. We're all tied up 1-1. A lot of ROX Esports fans here in the house.
Now, of course, on the other side, KWANGDONGFREECS, they've been a household name here in Kart Rider in general, and of course, even kicking things off in KDL. But ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for round 3 of item mode between the KDF and Seongnam ROX. We go to Forest Mushroom Caves.
And off we go on Mushroom Caves. Both these teams with 1 win apiece here in item mode. KDF 2-track wins away from securing the 2-0 and that upper playoff berth. Seongnam ROX right now in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah,
whoa.
Yeah, whatever they can. Pool gets spun out a little more than he would have liked to, so just got to stabilize just a bit. World boost forward, another boost in the back for him. And lots of shields actually early on, now slowly getting cycled through just to make sure they don't lose tempo. Plans he uses that one to just break through that barricade.
And he's the first racer to actually pick up a Lightning Bolt here, so ROX Esports can be really happy with that. Track 1 and Track 2, they didn't have a lot of big team play items to work with, but perhaps their luck has changed a little here on track number 3, as Mushroom Cave so far has been kind of them. We'll see if they pick up any more big team play items here in lap number 1.
Yeah, Ding had a double boost earlier, so he could freely use one just to catch up. He could keep this for the second lap, the second boost. Now that's allowed them to have a better insurance plan in the first round of item mode today. Curious to see if that once again is part of the plan. He's gonna hang back, try to get a stronger item. He's gonna pick up that magnet for his troubles.
Yeah, Magnet very good at actually closing the distance, so nice consolation prize here. Is actually 2 EMPs get picked up there by Jong. Not really the best in this kind of situation here for Team ROX, but I mean, I guess you will take it here until you can rotate it out.
Yeah, Ding just getting another magnet for his troubles of boosting forward. Cool is holding on to an EMP right now. Does not use it on that UFO. They want to save it for the potential magnets here coming in towards the end.
Got nice water wisp there on the lead racer for ROX. Ding, who is sitting in 3rd place, but only has the magnet really to try and close the distance. So a lot of this is going to come down into this Lightning here on lap number 2, but World actually sitting in 1st place with double shield. Okay, Ding, with that magnet, actually able to take the 1st place position. Is there any counterplay coming out from KDF?
He gets
Water
hit
balloons.
Yeah, and World, he doesn't have that second shield though, so he does get blocked. The EMP pushes away the UFO. Cool, he gets slowed down, but not enough by the Magnet, and he will secure first place here for Kwangdong Freaks.
Yeah, the Freaks now going up 2-1 as the Lightning was not enough for ROX to close the distance. Junk finishing only in third place there with Cool and World crossing the finish line first for KDF, and now it's kind of a tricky situation for ROX Esports. They have their back up against the wall. They gotta win.
Yeah, I mean, they just have to keep on winning from here on out if they want to be able to secure that first place in the round robin. I mean, something that would mean so much for them going into the playoffs right now is starting to look further and further away.
Yeah, absolutely. They need to really pick up some wins right now to secure that upper playoff berth, as the standings, they're so close. You know, should KDF win this with a 2-0, it's going to be them and Live Sandbox who are actually leading the charge.
Yeah, and you know, the expectations of potential upsets in the top 4 placements of who gets the upper bracket final dashed away by Kwangdong Freaks coming back into form when it matters most. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we get ready for what could be the last track between these two teams in the round robin. We go to Factory Cogwheel Crush for round 4 of Item Mode. One track away for Kwangdong Freaks as they look to enter the upper bracket finals once again here in Preseason 2 of the KDL.
Yeah, securing the 2-0 here will give them that upper bracket spot regardless of whatever happens in the standing. So KDF in good spirits now right now, really looking to get this win and just take that one home. They do not want to go to an ace match against ROX, who really has some of the best ace match players in the world in Jong and Ding.
Yeah, I mean, that's a scary prospect for anybody. Now, currently, Clancy actually cruising ahead. The UFO finally slows him down. He still does have double shield, so he can block off a couple more attacks. But even the Magnets now really dragging him back, really putting him back in his place along with the other racers.
Yeah, in terms of items right now, looks like the Angel Shield first going to KDF, so Spear has that one right now in the bag. Besides that, no big team play items. A couple of nitros, some water balloons, some water wisps in total on the field as the shortcut does close in. So not a lot of players really able to take advantage of that, if any.
Yeah, just Dootsie actually shooting way far forward.
Oh,
Can't
yeah,
even see him on the screen right now. I mean, surely UFOs and Magnets will come into play. There's actually quite a few EMPs on the side of ROX. They might use a lot of those just to make sure he can keep the lead.
Yeah, early Lightning Bolt is, I think KDF recognized that they cannot actually let Dootsie have this massive lead because it's just too much aggro that they would need to spend to actually be able to close the distance. So very smart call, using that Lightning Bolt early here to even things up. And now it's Clancy up against Spear and Sungbin here in the top ranks.
Yeah, now we do have double Angel Shields on the side of Kwangdong Freaks as well, so that heads-up play on the Lightning Bolt now may pay off as they're able to defend themselves against a lot of the other attacks, potentially coming from Seongnam ROX.
Yeah, getting a third Angel Shield as Spear picks up his second in the inventory, so he's pretty much done cycling through. We come away onto this straightaway. We'll see if anyone's actually able to take the shortcut here, as that could really mix things up heading into the final portion of this track.
Yeah, Clancy trying to figure out what his wing condition is. That missile's not going to be it for him. He does have that boost in hand for the time being. Potential Magnet would be nice. Of course, World has that EMP.
Oh.
Meanwhile, another Lightning comes out for Kwangdong Freaks, and it's looking like they should be able to secure this victory. World shields that one out. They still have another Angel Shield for any potential attacks.
And an individual shield as well on World, as he just seems impervious from any attack. Only 150 meters out. Actually does miss it, though. And Jung maybe in first place on the upper lane.
No,
the UFO with the barricade!
And the UFO, he gets bumped across by his teammate Ding.
Wow.
As he catches up. Oh, man, that was a nail-biter.
Almost had a heart attack at the finish line of that one, man.
Yeah.
I really did not know who was going to pull away.
I mean, the barricades into the UFO, that was a rough one. Jung probably had a heart attack, too. Like, damn, is this really how it's going to end? But
yeah, I also thought Angel Shield plus a shield in the bag there for KDF meant that Cool was going to be able to pass first unimpeded there. But the attacks, actually, there were enough of them to really be able to come through. And ROX gets back on the board, all tied up 2-2 now in item mode. And KDF, their path to the upper bracket finals is not that easy.
no, it isn't. And it could be actually escaping their hands right now. ROX trying to take this to an ace match. If Seongnam ROX win in any fashion, it will be Seongnam ROX and Live Sandbox in the 1 and 2 position, where Seongnam ROX actually take the first place from the round robin league play.
And even if KDF wins this next track and it goes to an ace match and they win the ace match, it still comes down to the track differentials in the standings. So it's not as clear cut for KDF right now they really need to win here in item mode. They need to win this next track and avoid that ace match to get the guaranteed victory. As we look here at the replay, a lot of lightning bolts coming out from KDF in this one. Actually, one in lap number 1 and one in lap number 2 as Jutsi had no speed. Luckily, with a magnet and the rocket able to close the distance. Now here on the finish line, I really thought World was going to be able to do it, but that shield just maybe not popping it in time. And then Jung with double UFO and a barricade still able to get pushed, almost like a tugboat, pushing along a carrier there across the finish line as the dynamic duo Jung and Ding coming through in the clutch for ROX Esports.
In item mode as well, so now we go to the last track of item mode. Will this go to an ace match, or will KWANGDONGFREECS secure their fate in the upper bracket finals? We find out in Mind Mother Load.
Final track here in team item for both these guys in the round robin as we get ready to move to the playoffs. I just want to reiterate that for KDF, this really does feel a lot like a must-win situation on this track to avoid any shenanigans with a track differential in the standing. I mean, if you're KDF, you win right now, you get the 2-0. You win speed mode, you win item mode, you're heading to the upper bracket finals. If you lose this one, it becomes a lot more complicated, even if you win the ace match, about whether you're going to be heading there or not. So the pressure really high right now on KDF and ROX Esports. Their whole game plan, it's all about forcing that ace match.
Oh, absolutely. And I think despite KWANGDONGFREECS being a scary team, Seongnam ROX are not one to shy away from ace matches. They would happily take that challenge on, especially if that means it gives them a chance to move on to the upper bracket finals. Meanwhile, going into lap 2, Jung with a nice jump forward.
Ooh, nice block there too on Seongnam. Don't see too much of that usually. And that sets up the water bomb from his teammates as well. So very good coordination by ROX, coming through with some nice team plays right here on lap number 1.
Yeah, Jung just trying to delay the opponents as much as he can while he gets hit by that UFO. Eventually, you have to give up space, and now it is KWANGDONGFREECS, Sungbin, and Pool back in the lead.
Yeah, no big team play items on either side just yet. Just a lot of magnets here for ROX Esports to actually hold on to 3. Jutsi, Planzy, and Jung, all with 1 apiece. Would not be surprised to see them use that to try and gain a little bit of tempo here in lap number 2, setting up for a combination in lap 3.
Yeah, and Jung, since he has double items, he chooses not to cycle through something like the shield, just going to move forward. This time he will use a Magnum right away to catch up on this incline. You love to see that play. Draws out some of the aggro. He's able to block it out. Double shields now for Jung. Meanwhile, Angel Shield for Pool in stock.
Yeah, both teams now with 1 Angel Shield apiece. No lightnings on the board just yet as Jung actually picking up another shield, so that's the 3rd one total use. Actually, the Angel Shield gets popped there for ROX Esports as I guess a lot of attacks were coming in from KDF that ROX wanted to deal with. Now another shield comes through, deflects the water whisk. There is a water balloon by Seongnam. Will he be able to connect with Jung? No, he's just going to cycle it through, getting closer and closer to that finish line.
Yeah, Jung still has another solo shield as well, able to cycle through that. Eventually, now Cool, the only one with the Angel Shield left over. Jung does have an EMP, but can he get away from the grasp of Seongbin? Nothing to catch up on the side of Seongbin. Nothing to stop Jung either. The EMP comes in clutch, and it's going to be Jung who crosses the finish line. We will be going to an ace match.
Yeah, Jung coming through in the clutch. Once again, track number 4, track number 5 of item mode. He finishes in 1st place. And that will be us going to an ace match here as Seongnam ROX going to be very happy with this one, man, as they might have rebooked their ticket to the upper bracket finals with that track win.
Oh man, what it would mean for Seongnam ROX to be 1st place in standings in league play, go into that upper bracket finals as the top seed, get that advantage in the draft, you know, be able to have their choice of priority. I mean, that would mean just so much for a team who showed such raw potential in preseason 1, but couldn't quite close things out.
Yeah, ROX Esports with an ace match victory would upseat Live Sandbox for 1st place on those standings. But even with a defeat in ace match, even if KDF only walks away with a 2-1 win, it's going to come down to the track differentials. And I would have to look at the standings again after the end of play today to really get an understanding of then who would be moving on into the upper bracket playoffs. There's also Sensation. It comes down to their match later in the day as well, as really everything is coming down to the wire here in the final day of the round robin.
Yeah, and so right now, I mean, already the fate of KWANGDONGFREECS slightly out of their own grasp. Meanwhile, Seongnam ROX, a victory in the ace match would mean that you move up to 1st seed. little high five between Ding and Jong. It's hard to tell who's going to be the one entering. You got to imagine it's between those two.
Right. That was the conversation. It almost seemed like that was Jong passing the torch to Ding.
It did feel like it.
To allow him to play.
It was a bit of a you take this one, boss, type of high five. Earphones being prepped for Ding. We have been faked out by other players before, though, so
yeah.
we'll wait. they know how to play the camera.
Absolutely they do, especially veterans like these guys, both these pro teams. So much experience, not only on stage, but in front of a live audience. As you can see right there, it's a packed crowd here, despite it being Wednesday. I mean, the fans in Korea know that it all comes down to the matches today to determine who's going to the upper bracket finals, who is not, and that has a big impact on what the playoffs are going to look like. Yeah, I do think it will be Ding here, his teammates giving him some pointers perhaps before the track.
All right, well, the track itself is going to be for Zigzag Timberland. Oh, this is going to be a toughie. I mean, lots of opportunities to go for aggressive, high-risk, high-reward plays here on this one. Now, and also not one where you can kind of rest in your laurels just because you have the early lead. We'll have to see what's the final roster here look like. And it does look like it's going to be Cool versus Ding.
Yeah, a little bit of a passing of the torch here for ROX Esports. You go back to KDL Preseason 1 and you tell anybody that, yeah, they still have Jong in Preseason 2, but they're not using him in perhaps the most important ace match of their season. You would think that you're crazy, but Ding, he's been the #1 racer in team speed, not just on his team, but across the entire KDL so far this season. And so ROX Esports, they're putting their trust in him to come through in the ace match here and secure their first place finish in the round robin stage of KDL Preseason 2. Ding versus Cool, ROX versus KDF. Who will take it on Forest Zigzag Timberland?
And the race begins. Cool on red, Ding on blue, and Ding just going for some of his sweat cuts there early on, going for it deep, actually. And Cool will take that opportunity to say, okay, that means I can build up my boost gauge as well. He starts to shoot forward right away.
Yeah, Ding really prioritizing boost gauge right there as Cool actually did get the faster start, but Ding with that boost able to close the distance a little bit, get back into striking play here within draft range.
Draft comes online, but of course Cool was able to maintain his boost gauge for just a bit longer thanks to that early lead. So Ding, he does have his work cut out for him. He's not going to be able to play a safe build here. He's going to have to get it, he's really trying to sneak in a couple of these swift cuts whenever there's a straightaway, and now he's starting to put pressure onto Cool.
Yeah, the collisions are now coming in. Cool trying to zone him out a little bit, but Ding is ahead in nitrous gauge, so not only with the drafts, but he has a lot of room to play with this. He will take the lead right now here on lap #1 coming into these turns, and now Cool playing a little bit of catch-up. Is going to have to build up that nitrous gauge of his own to match Ding's pace.
Yeah, and I love that Ding just used that draft early on before entering these hairpins to take that first place lead. Doesn't want to risk it on the hairpins, just wants to play his own build, wrapping up lap 1, and then figure out how to battle the mind games once again in lap 2.
That was a very smart play there by Ding, but also Cool, that inner line coming out of the hairpin turns and into the start of lap 2 is able to take the lead as we see both these racers now doing everything they can to optimize and build as much nitrous as possible on this straightaway. Of course, very hard to do that here at these high speeds. And no, Cool actually with a big collision. He gets hung up on the wall, and Ding breaks away.
Yeah, Cool tries for the stop, but he runs into the wall himself afterwards, cannot regain speed. And Ding just says, I'll bounce on the outer side. He's just going to move forward. Now you can tell Cool, the pressure's on him. He's trying to take such sharp turns, just enough for him to not lose speed. But is it going to be enough? Now going to the hairpins, I got to imagine he might have one shot of a draft getting into draft range around one of the corners, but it's going to be dicey.
Yeah, it's very hard to go for those draft passes on the hairpin turns. And that's the reason why Ding avoided that on the first lap in the first place. That's why I tried to pass early, but Cool doing everything in his power to try and close the distance and make up lost ground. But Ding not only just ahead of nitrous gauge, but Cool once again catching the wall. He's going for the greediest line possible because that's the play he has to make to try and close the distance, but unable to do it. 500 meters now from the finish line. Ding, if he just plays it safe, will set his team to first place here in the KDL Preseason 2.
Oh, and you can see it in the camera. He knew right away as he entered the second part of the hairpins that victory was in his hands. And that means, ladies and gentlemen, we have a bit of an upset in the standings, and Seongnam ROX will be shooting up to first place in league play, moving on to the upper bracket finals to face Live Sandbox later on in the playoffs.
Yeah, this absolutely locks the standings now with ROX Esports in first place, Live Sandbox in second place overall. As you said, they will meet in the upper bracket finals, and it will be KWANGDONGFREECS versus Sensation in the lower bracket finals, trying to pave their way there as Ding just absolutely coming through in the clutch. And you can see that the faith his team put in him was well rewarded and well justified, because that was a stunning performance. You can see that Cool, one of the best racers in the world, really felt the pressure.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially after that initial stop. He had one shot and he knew that he had to take, you know, just the tightest turn going into the hairpin, because if he lost speed there or if he didn't catch up there, he would forever be out of range of draft. So he's trying to take it, run to the wall again, but that just shows that, you know, even a racer like Cool, he's human if he's put on the back foot, and Ding plays that to his advantage, really puts the pressure on him going into lap 2, where Cool has to play a little bit aggressively.
Yeah, a fantastic story finish here for ROX Esports to finish off the round robin. Is this was a team that we all knew about the potential he had in KDL Preseason 1, and now with the addition of Ding here and KDL Preseason 2, they are topping the standings, and they look so strong-willed.
Absolutely.
I mean, going toe-to-toe with the KWANGDONGFREECS, the reigning champs, 3-2 in speed going to the Freaks, then Seongnam ROX fighting back, winning in item mode 3-2, and then coming through in the ace match, which has always been their ace in the hole from KDL Preseason 1 to KDL Preseason 2, no matter who was racing, coming through with that victory. I mean, this is a stunning upset and really a great story for ROX fans around the world.
The fashion in which it happened, I think, is really the impressive part for Seongnam ROX, right? It's not the speed mode you won. You come back in item mode, and it's not Jung that wins the ace match, it's Ding. I mean, all of these breaking the stereotype that they had in Preseason 1 and breaking apart and saying we've really grown and evolved outside of that. It is no longer team speed mode and Jung only that we rely on, but really the entire roster.
Yeah, ROX Esports, it feels like they have so much more depth now to their roster compared to KDL Preseason 1. You know, the win condition for them always in KDL Preseason 1 was get to that ace match, give the ball to Jong, he will carry you home to a victory. It worked for them. It sent them to the postseason.
Sure.
But they didn't succeed there because there were still some holes in their play. And now here in KDL Preseason 2, especially highlighted by this upset against the KWANGDONGFREECS, they're in first place. They're killers in speed mode. They're one of the best pro teams in item mode as well. And they have two different aces that they can rely on, basically. You know, Junkie still is the item ace on this team, but Ding, he really does feel like an ace, even though he isn't one in name, with how well he's been racing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, just very impressive for Seongnam ROX. Everything about how this turned out, I think, is the best you could have hoped for a finish here in league play for Seongnam ROX. Now, for KWANGDONGFREECS, yes, that does mean they don't get that bye into the upper bracket finals. However, just in terms of pure seeding, right, who gets the advantage in terms of priority between them and Sensation, they'll have to wait and watch what the match or how the match unfolds here next for Sensation, because depending on that score, KWANGDONGFREECS, they might even get pushed all the way down to 4th place.
Absolutely. We'll have to see what happens in the final match of the round robin when we get back from this short break. We'll see you soon.
I try to erase you, but you're written in ink. I really can't face you, but you're all that I see. It just makes me mad that I want you back, but I can't stop thinking about it. I'm stuck living without it. That look on your face, how it made me feel safe. Now I can't stop thinking about it, but I'm better off without it. Ooh, we were never destined to live inside this tension. Call us a learning lesson. Everything's clearer when you're not in the way, but in the mirror I still see your face. It just makes me mad that I want you back, but I can't stop thinking about it. I'm stuck living without it. That look on your face, how it made me feel safe. Now I can't stop thinking about it, but I'm better off without it. Ooh, we were never destined to live inside this tension. Call us a learning lesson. Ooh, 'cause there's a better me at the end of all these feelings. Call us a learning lesson. I'm trying, I'm finding, I think I'll be alright. Just give me time. I'm trying, I'm finding, I think I'll be alright. Just give me time. I'm trying, I'm finding, I think I'll be alright.